This dog's really expressive too.
Here we
Has
go.
that like inquisitive kind of stare.
This way.
They got. Are you saying that they got a good boy?
Yeah. What?
Bold of you. Bold of you.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Hey, they're the dog people, aren't they?
Recording in Audacity.
Recording in Audacity. Did you just make a noise? I can't hear you. Okay, so this is a
I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, fucking asshole. That's not even our intro. I have an intro. God damn it. Welcome to Ruff Cuts. He stole it. Fine.
You can do your intro.
No,
song.
whatever.
Yeah.
This will play well for our audio listeners as I do a pouty face.
I was just doing a very good prank. What do you want?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ruff Cuts. This is our podcast about good boys in bad movies, where we watch a dog movie that's terrible. Last week, we kind of continued the Halloween tradition by accident by watching Wickensburg, which felt like a Halloween movie, even though for some reason it wasn't.
It
Probably
wasn't?
because it's terrible.
Somehow?
And so we decided this week to keep the spooky times going. And we went and looked at Wickensburg and went, oh, fuck, that requires a Starz subscription. We're not watching that. And so instead we watched Good Boy.
The real horror was having to pay for a subscription service to watch a sequel to a movie that wasn't good to begin
That we didn't
with.
want to watch. That we really, really didn't want to watch it. But we talked about it a lot, so we figured we had to.
Yeah.
So instead we watched an actual good horror movie in Good Boy.
Good Boy.
Good
It's
Boy.
the movie everybody pointed to us the moment it got released on social media, and it's like, you need to watch this. Have you heard of this? And we're like, yes.
Yes,
I have
no,
heard
we've
of, I've
had
been
like
following it.
I've heard about it like 150 times, even before fans started sending it to us.
Yep.
But then we got sent it a lot, like a
lot.
I don't know how often you got pointed out to you, but I got pointed it out
makes-
to me like once a day.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Oh,
you
yeah,
see this
no.
movie, you're like, oh, those two idiots will want to watch
yeah,
this.
absolutely, yeah. No, hey, listen. It's a good thing that you did, but it's also very funny how often it was.
That's true. That's true.
It's both very nice. Thank you. We appreciate you thinking about us. You can always email us any of your suggestions at roughcutscast@gmail.com. But also, Jesus Christ, we got a lot of this was a very suggested movie.
So, Good Boy by Ben Leonberg, something like that, I think.
Like that? I know that it's his directorial
this is his-
debut. I didn't look up
This is his first
name.
feature film. Yeah, he's done some short films before in 2016 and 2015.
Yeah,
he
Ben
wrote-
Leonberg. It's Leonberg.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
want
know
to say
if that's how you'd say it.
Lowenberg, but that's not
probably,
right.
It might be. It might be though. Honestly,
It might be.
Like, I don't know that it would be Leonberg. It might not be that literal. But
Ben Leon S. Kennedyberg from Resident
God damn
Evil.
it.
But anyway, so he wrote this in 2017. Between writing the movie, filming the movie, and releasing after editing and all that, it had been 8 years.
Yep.
It's a huge project.
Yeah, real big
You think
project
about it.
for him.
He also found his own dog, which is his dog,
Yes.
Indy.
Yeah. I would say for the 8-year thing, to me, just really quickly as an aside, that really tells me how much, not just that, like, effort he put into this movie, but how much movies take in team effort normally. Because this is such a, like, solo project. That's part of why it took so long.
A lot of what he had to shoot was just himself and the dog in the house, setting it up on his own.
And
doing
it
the
shows
shots.
you how much, like, a team is really required to get most movies made, because 8 years is absurd. Continue.
It's so long. What was there was a movie called, I think, Boyhood. A while back.
That's Linklater though. That's the fucking weird ass art project bullshit.
the only reason I mention it is because I think the puppy scenes of showing like the home videos of the puppy are actually this dog.
Yes,
It
I
feels
thought
like it
the
is.
same thing when that came up. I was like,
I'm
oh,
like,
this
that
is some
has to be
Boyhood
the
shit.
real dog.
Yeah.
This is just Boyhood.
Yeah, I thought the
Doghood?
same thing. Yeah, It's funny that we both went to the same spot. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe Boyhood is good, but I think
No.
that. Did you see it?
It's not good.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it's not
Okay,
good.
okay.
It is interesting to film somebody's life like that as
Sure.
a character.
For
but
those that
as
don't
an
know,
experiment.
Let's you should
Yeah,
explain
go
what
ahead.
it is.
You can go ahead
Okay.
if you want, but it's just they basically shot a film where they shot a real life actor growing
Mhm.
up. That's Boyhood,
Yeah,
and in real time, but then
over like
made it
15
a movie.
years or something.
Yeah,
or-
over a long period of time.
like a long.
And then the whole
period.
gimmick is, hey, we shot this movie. It took this long, and our actor really aged. And I'm like, yeah, I watched Stranger Things also. What's the big deal?
Yeah, who gives a shit? It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like it's very much a gimmick, and like
Yeah.
in a way that's admirable, but also then it's just kind of the gimmick, right? Maybe
That's the whole thing. And then the movie has to live up to that gimmick to be like worth the time and effort. And I don't think Boyhood matched that
fair
at all.
enough. And
That
speaking
said-
of gimmicks,
Yeah.
ugh, this gimmick movie that we watched called Good Boy. This is about a dog who sees supernatural stuff, and it's kind of just a supernatural movie, horror movie from
Yeah, I
the
would say,
perspective of
like,
the dog.
Supernatural / Lovecraftian in the way that it's shot. And
Yeah, and some of the colors and stuff, like definitely
Colors,
in
yeah.
like the way that they use color in the horror type elements for sure. It's got a very like we were talking color out of space from beyond,
like that purple sort of glow that you get from a television set or from a light that shouldn't be there, things like that.
Yeah, you tend to use. I tend to find like Lovecraft uses like the Lovecraftian movies use that a lot because I think that it's the most unnatural of light. In that, like you will never see a purple light that's not man-made, essentially, right?
Yeah, because that ultraviolet.
Because
is a
you're
big
not
thing,
really
right? Yeah.
getting that. Like that's
Yeah.
not a thing that people would see in nature, and so it feels very unnatural. So they tend to use that for the lighting, and this did the same thing for that. I wouldn't say that the story is very Lovecraftian, but
No, the story's not very Lovecraftian. It is very personal, I'll
yes.
say, but know.
And on that note, I should say, because this is a rare treat that we're getting ourselves, where it's a good boy in a good movie, and it's well known as a good movie, or at least like a competent enough one. That people might want to not get spoiled. Should we put a...
yeah, if you
when
don't
do
want to
we
get spoiled, this is probably a good stopping
is
point.
this
If you don't
the
want to
good
get
stopping
spoiled,
point?
cut to the end of the episode, probably within 5 to 10 minutes when we talk about the ending,
We say
how
the
much we
rating.
liked it.
You should, yeah. I mean,
and go watch it.
Let's do the non-spoiler part of this first. The premise is that, again, dog sees supernatural stuff from the perspective of the dog. I found it quite good. I thought it was really nice.
I found myself extremely engaged.
Yeah.
Which is not something that happens a lot with movies we watch.
No, this one was very engaging. I
Yeah.
think that there's some issues that I have with it, but in general, like I'd say overall, it's got the hype. Like there's a reason that there's the hype there.
It's
definitely-
worth it, I'd say. Yeah,
It's
worth
definitely
the time.
worth it. I think that it's more than
Yeah.
just the gimmick. Like, I mean, because there's obviously the gimmick of like, oh, it's all from the dog's perspective.
It's from the dog.
But I
Yeah,
don't think that it doesn't feel like a gimmick movie at all, and it ends up being a very competent horror movie for the most part.
It's even more from the dog's perspective than Bad Moon, which is the other dog
Yes.
perspective horror-ish movie that we saw a while ago, and that was just the dog fighting a werewolf.
Yes.
That this is much more deep and personal and has a lot more to say, I'd say, than just dog versus werewolf.
I think that you're simplifying Bad Moon a little bit, because I think that it was all because he was an
Sure.
asshole before that. It was very much dog versus abuser.
It was dog versus abuser. That's
And so
true,
I actually
that's
do
true.
think that there's a lot more depth to Bad Moon than you're giving it giving it credit for. Bad Moon's
Also,
a really good movie.
The Moon's always been bad.
Yes,
Moon's
well,
bad.
obviously, Moon's haunted. You gotta get
Yeah.
but all right. So basics out of the way. You should definitely watch this. It's a good movie. I like that there's really good lighting choices and stuff in it. Some of the shots.
Yes.
There's one in particular that I think both of us liked, and we talked about it at the time. It was like, oh, we really like that, but also you can tell the director really liked it too because he uses it so much. But like as a photographer, I'm like, you know what this is? I'm like, it's not just that it's a good theme and a callback to like various other points in the movie, which it is, but it's also the director saw that shot and went, fuck, I love that shot, and just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Which is, he has like a tiny old TV set,
a gamer television for retro gamers worth $300 to $400.
yes,
on eBay.
with like it's got a knob on it for
yeah,
some
it's one of those
reason.
CRTs with a
Man,
knob.
I
That means
can't
it's really good for retro games because it
Weird.
only has RF input. Yeah,
But yes, so it's this, and it's a little TV, and it's situated right near a doorway in this old house, so that you
get a nice depth of field.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that you can see the screen of the TV, but also kind of fuzzy out of background stuff in the other room through the door, which made some really good moments of like, there's a VHS tape of, they talk about the grandpa, it's the grandpa's house, and he made a bunch of tapes, and he looks over his shoulder at one point at something behind him in the videotape, but it looks like he's looking out the door, and it's as things are happening in the other room. And they use that, and it's very
it draws
subtle.
your eye so well to exactly what they want to show you. Yeah,
And it's done really subtly. Like, it's not like drawn attention to at all. Like, it's not like the guy like then the other
Hey,
main
what's
character.
that? Is the
Oh,
other
is
room?
is
Oh,
the grandpa
geez.
looking at a thing behind him? Like, there's nothing like
Yeah.
that. Like, it's not done in a very very subtle, fast way. But it, like you said, it does a good job of drawing your eye to that. And then it also then has later on like the owner's reflection in that same thing, not just
in that same to mirror what
to
was
mirror
shown
the
earlier in
grandpa
the
and
VHS.
stuff. And so like it's a
Yeah.
good callback, and it's also just like a good like, oh, this director was like, man, this shot fucking rules, and he kept using it. So, he used
So
it, like,
what's
4 or
funny
5
about
times.
that is the idea for writing this was after a rewatch of Poltergeist.
That would
So
make
it makes
a lot of sense too.
Perfect sense that he's like, oh, I want to do the TV thing. The TV's so good. I love the TV stuff.
You talked about the static lighting and like the kind of purplish lighting a few times, looking very Poltergeist also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It makes sense.
So if you like the sounds of that kind of thing, that's the movie. Now spoilers. You'll want to just turn
Alright,
this off. I have
spoilers.
no idea when we're going to get back to non-spoiler stuff. It'll probably just be through the whole thing. So go watch the
Alright.
movie, enjoy it.
Go watch it. Go watch it. We'll be quiet for like 2 seconds. Okay, are they gone? All right. There's a dog in this movie.
Holy shit! That doesn't happen a whole lot for us. There's a lot of times that they show a dog on the cover and there's no dog.
spoiler. Yeah.
There's a dog. There's like a dog throughout most of this movie. It's really neat.
It's
that
like
they
the main
actually kept
character.
The dog. They didn't switch it. There was no bait and switch. They had a dog on the poster, and then the dog was in the movie. And it's the same dog. Boy, it's the same dog.
That dog
It's
had
not
no
even a different
stunt
dog.
doubles. It had no stunt doubles.
Yeah, that
It
was
wasn't
okay. That was
the
surprising.
incorrect dog on the cover.
Yeah.
On the poster. Yeah. Other fun things.
They didn't like show a chihuahua and then have like a shih tzu, and you'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? Where's
What
the
the
dog
fuck?
from the cover?
They also had some
How
really
is that a thing in like
interesting-
half of our movies? How is
They
that
had
a
some
thing they
interesting
keep
puzzles they had to solve too. Like, how do we do dialogue in a movie from a dog's perspective? So a lot of the dialogue is from like the room over. So you're hearing it from where the dog is at, and you're like, "Oh, okay." So like, I'm still invested in what the dog's looking at, but I'm hearing this conversation happen.
Yes, yeah.
And I
they
think
do a
that's
lot of
so
that.
good. It's so good.
There's a bit of, I would say it's from the dog's perspective, but I would also say they break that sometimes.
Yeah, they do with I think the phone calls are the big ones where you hear the other side of the conversation.
Yep. Well, they've also had a couple of times where it was just Todd like walking down the stairs, the owner Todd.
Yeah.
And the dog wasn't there. Like later on in the movie, like the dog just was not there at all at that point. There's a couple.
Oh, but you can
it's not
still
for-
see what Todd's doing.
But you can see Todd stuff. Like, so this is a few times where it kind of breaks away from the dog. So I think that, like, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that that is one of those things where it's a gimmick of, it's an idea of doing this from the perspective of the dog. and they were like, okay, that's a really cool idea and we want to do that, but we're not gonna like hamstring our movie in dumb ways to make that work.
So
and
it
that's
has
the
to
smarter
forcibly,
thing
yeah.
to do, right? Like,
Okay, but some sort of a dickhead on YouTube's be like,
Well, it wasn't technically
that.
always from the dog,
Fuck
which
that.
means they
Fuck
really
those
fucked
people.
up the
I
movie.
know,
This
but
is
fuck
actually
those
a
people.
screw up. They screwed up the film. They did it all wrong.
one
Ding.
sin.
That's a sin, you big loser, you
Fucking
stupid idiot. I'm so
Cinema
smart.
Sins makes me want to swallow a bullet. Fuck Cinema Sins. Fuck everything about that shit.
You see, it was actually a mistake that the dog could understand English. It could only hear its own name.
Fuck that, man. Fuck that shit. It's such a goddamn nightmare. It's one thing to be
Yeah.
critical about a movie and talk about it, but also, like, to do it as an objectively wrong thing.
mm-hmm, for content.
And
Yeah.
especially, like, so many of the stuff, it's one thing if you actually show off a, like, continuity error or something in a way that would be objectively, like, oops, like, oh, a boom mic.
Yeah,
Like, a boom mic came in the shot.
A character
right?
was holding a phone, and then the next scene, as they walk past the camera, it's
Or,
gone, or
or
something
like
like
the
that,
Game of
yeah.
Thrones thing where there was a Starbucks cup in the middle
Yeah, a
of one of the
Starbucks
shots.
cup.
Like,
They just have those, though.
Actual
yeah.
mistakes like that. Like a real legitimate objective mistake that was not supposed to be in there would be kind of interesting. I don't think that, but the thing is that wouldn't make a channel. There's not enough of that happens. And so instead it's all this subjective bullshit.
You see, the
that they
dog
just
couldn't
make
have
up.
heard the barking of another dog because that dog wasn't actually there. So
And it's like, yeah, because the dog was actually a ghost, so you can't hear ghosts. Ghosts aren't
Yeah, you
real.
can't hear
like,
ghosts. They didn't
it's
use the
dumb
right
bullshit like
material.
that, where it's like,
they
okay,
didn't
yeah,
use
but
the right way to record it and then listen back and then
you gotta understand, motherfucker, that it's a goddamn movie. Like,
Sorry for the
it
tangent.
works for the goddamn fucking narrative. You do things for the narrative, and
I don't know. I heard people say the narrative was very confusing.
Oh god, yeah, that was another thing that I saw on this one, is that people said that the narrative in this was convoluted, which it's not. It's not at all.
It's
in
not.
my
It's
mind.
very
It
straightforward,
feels-
I'd say, yeah.
If anything, I would say that it almost suffers from being too straightforward, because
There could be a little more ambiguity, I think, yeah.
a little more ambiguity and a little bit less signposting in some ways, a little less obvious stuff, because
Yeah.
it was only like 25 minutes in that I called the entire plot, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I was also thinking it around there. I'm like, oh, it's just going to be this.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
when,
yeah,
when
yeah.
they introduced the barking from the cellar, the dog's constantly
Yes.
looking at the cellar, like, oh, obviously.
well, and you
Yeah.
you called it very similar times. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you also didn't call it. It was more just that, like, I was the first one to vocalize.
You were the
the
right to
actual
vocalize,
thing.
yeah.
I vocalized it first.
So
but
it-
we
it
were
would've
both
been-
thinking the same thing. Like, it's
It would have been
obvious.
nice to have a little bit of a twist of like, oh, okay, but not like a, oh, okay. Like, you
Yeah,
know, that type of response would be nice, but
It's really hard to, like,
it's so hard to write that.
but that's one of those things where it's like, I mean, the movies
Yeah.
that we talk about that actually have twists like that are an absolute stunner by the end of it
Mhm.
aren't just good movies. Those are like top 5 all-time
Top 5.
kind of movies. Whereas, like, this is like, it's good.
Yeah, because
which is different.
movies we were saying were similar to this. Bad Moon.
Bad Moon,
of course.
definitely.
Lake Mungo is what you were saying, because a lot of the shots with like weird things in the
That was more
background.
I
That's
don't
more
think that it's
visual,
so
I'd say.
similar. It was more. You were talking about, oh, it's a film where, because you said, oh, there's a lot of little things to pick out of the background, and I said, if you
Yep.
really want that, watch Lake Mungo.
because you're
And-
supposed to be looking. And I was also talking about like Mike Flanagan stuff, like The Haunting of Bly Manor, or that type of stuff
Yes.
has a lot of stuff in the background that you pick up on these long shots. But another more recent film is probably Black Phone.
Mhm.
Black Phone has that twist element though.
Yeah, I will say
that I
that this
think
is
is
not at
interesting.
all similar to Lake Mungo, by the way.
So-
But it's just
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I was
It-
thinking like visuals of just stuff in the background. So okay, that's fair.
Even that though, visually,
Yeah.
it's not really the same. You've got to watch
Yeah.
Lake Mungo to understand.
Okay.
Lake Mungo is shot as like a 60-minute style documentary or like a Cold Case Files.
Okay.
Like it's a found footage movie, quote unquote. Now we're just
So-
gonna get into movies that we like.
So it's not like Dark where I can watch the first 2 episodes
Fuck
and then
you.
understand that
Stop.
Wickensburg
Shut
is
up.
exactly
Shut
like
up,
it.
shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Is what you're
not
telling me?
allowed to get that accurate on Wild Wickensburg was like Dark before. But it's not like Dark. It's not at all like Dark. Dark is amazing. But the
Yeah.
Lake Mongo is very much, it's found footage, but it's not found footage because it's done as a documentary. Like it's done like, it keeps going
Yeah.
back to like footage that people have found, but it's got narration and stuff over the whole thing. Like it's done like,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
it is interviewing family
That's
members. It's talking about things like that. It's showing the found footage. Like people call it a found footage movie, and I'm like, not really. It's done like it feels exactly like a Cold Case Files, is what it feels like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then it's got other stuff in it, and it is incredible. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's so good. But anyway, this is not at all like that. It's just the being able to pick little things out of the background in the way that it's got like that precision of stuff in the background. It's like
Okay.
Mongo. In that, in that specific thing, just that like he does a good job in this movie of doing a lot of like very intricate shots in a way, or like technical stuff. Like
there's a lot of technical shots.
there's a good early shot of that we talked about this, and that's where we kind of, I think around there is why I mentioned the Lake Mongo thing, is that there was a bird that was taxidermied on the wall, and it's perched like normal with like its wings in tight, just kind of perched there. But the shadow on the wall shows it like it's in flight,
Yeah.
which is, and it's not drawn attention to at all. Like it's just up in the corner, just kind of slightly out of view. And so it's a very, like kind of moment of just like picking out like these little
What's
subtle
that?
details.
Wait, what
in the
is
background.
that? Yeah.
And it's just kind of unnerving and weird. And
I found myself like constantly trying to look deeper into like almost like my face was getting closer to the screen
Yes.
as I'm watching it, just getting pulled into the scene. And then something would happen, be like, whoa, what was that? Yeah.
Well, or you'd go, wah!
And then I make fun of it because I definitely didn't get got. The dog's dreaming about being in that basement. Oh my god. They got me.
They got you.
Anyway,
They did get you.
they did get me. Fuck. That actually made my hair on my neck stand up. I hate that.
Because you were never owned, not even once in this movie.
I'm not
But
a
that's
corn
the
cob.
smart
Shut
stuff.
up.
That's the good idea. That's where jump scare movies don't get it. And this one has jump scares in it. And other movies that we're talking about like this have the jump scares in them. And like Lake Mungo kind of has that same thing of
Yeah.
you if you are paying, it makes you pay more and more attention to it, because the idea of the taxidermied bird that's also in flight at the same time, ultimately that has jack shit to do with the plot or haunting or anything. It's just a cool visual when you really think about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
just a
think of
visual.
I can't think of any reason that would be anything like metaphoric or anything for the plot. But it draws you into looking, and it's just kind of unsettling and weird. And there are things that are like that in the background that are related to the plot. And so you're
That are also unsettling and weird.
also unsettling and
Yeah.
weird. And so you're always looking at it's a lot of shadow play in this movie, especially. They do a lot with the shadows. But it means, like you said, you're kind of like constantly leaning forward, trying to look at
pushing
things.
forward. Like I kept finding myself on the edge of my seat, literally trying to look at it. Yeah,
And
which is
that
why
means-
the jump scares were getting me.
Yes,
because I'm like,
exactly.
oh fuck.
Because then you're looking really hard in the background. So then when suddenly
Yeah.
something is in your face, you
Yeah.
haven't been like pulled back, just kind of relaxed. Not it comes almost out of the corner of your eye at you, which is
Which is that
automatically
fight or
gets that
flight,
reaction.
like,
It instantly gives you a like, holy shit, a predator snuck up on me feeling. And that's where jump scares work. And that's why they're good. Jump scares are great as a technical thing.
Mhm.
I actually think
When done well. When done well.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the only caveat
Yeah.
though. Like jump scares aren't a bad trope. Jump scares are great. They're really, really effective. They're fantastic. But they have to be used the right way. And so many people don't do them that way. Whereas this movie does the jump scares right. There's only a couple, but
There's
really
only
well.
a couple.
That's
I
part of
think
it too, is that you got to use them
They didn't
sparingly.
overdo it. They didn't overdo it. But I think the other thing that's interesting, so the way they're shot, when they have these long scenes where you're looking in the background, it'll be the dog sees something. That dog has such an expressive face of just this blank, kind of
Yes.
creepy stare of like, what did you see? What's in the corner? What is that? And then the dog will get up and start walking around. You'll see the dog looking around, and the viewer is also looking around. So you're just it feels almost like you haven't been taking a breath. Like you're just being sort of drowned in this scene. And then when the scene ends and you're at the end of it, you're just like,
Yeah.
it's like this release,
Yes.
and that pull in reminds me so much of another movie I really like, which has a lot of those scenes like that where they're talking in this conversation about a story about something that happened, and I just keep getting closer and closer to the screen, and that is Vast of Night, which is a UFO alien movie.
Oh, I heard about
that is
okay.
mostly. I'd say most people know about that movie if they do, just because of the long dolly shot at the beginning, which is like 14 minutes real-time dolly shot through an entire town.
Wow.
It's so
God,
impressive.
that's
But it
really
has
cool.
these scenes where there's like a lady talking about her alien story. And as she's talking about it, you're just slowly getting this picture in your head of what she's explaining, and you're constantly just like so engrossed that by the time she's done, I'm like, holy shit, I wasn't breathing for 3 minutes. What happened?
Yeah.
And I get that same feeling from this movie.
And in that feeling, that's where it's like Lake Mungo. Because Lake Mungo also, for me at least, I found myself like at the start of Lake Mungo, I was just kind of like leaning back, arm over the couch, just kind of watching it. And then as you start getting into the story more and more, you just kind of like, I realized that I got to a point where I was like sitting there like crouched, trying to like stare at everything in the screen. And it's like, okay, wow. Like, yeah, no, that's the sign of a good movie. And I think that another thing that I saw for other reviews and stuff too a little bit, like I didn't look up too much because I didn't want it to taint what I felt about this movie. But things that I saw was that like, the pacing of this was off, is what people said. But I think that they're wrong. Because I think, like personally for me, because I think that what it is that people don't, at least there's some reviewers, some people don't like this. They don't like those quiet moments. Because we're talking about these long shots, and what we're talking about is like
you got to let the movie breathe. Like,
Yes.
that's the moment for the audience to breathe and process what they're watching. Right?
Or for them not to, because like like one of the early scenes that we were talking about where it really drew us in is, so I guess that now's the spoilers actually. This is where we haven't talked
This
about
is all
any
spoiler.
spoilers.
This is all spoiler. It's fine.
Kind of. But like now's the real spoiler. Where the plot of the movie is you start off with this guy who is sitting in the dark. His dog's looking out the window. The dog sees something kind of creepy. There's like a shadow.
Yeah.
And it goes back to go to his owner, and his owner's going, and then starts dripping blood onto his phone that's been ringing. And you then realize, oh, the owner has something wrong. And then it kind of goes to this hospital, and it shows him getting, I was going to say ejected, but that's not wrong. But like...
later on, he gets an MRI. Yeah.
Yeah, but early
he
on,
gets kicked out of the hospital.
He gets released from the hospital.
Yeah.
He gets released, allowed to go home, and then he goes out to a cabin in the woods instead because he wants to go where his grandpa was. They have this old cabin. He's trying to like get back to nature. He's obviously having like really, really, really bad medical problems.
Yes.
And he's just wanting to like, detach, get out into the wilderness. And so the first night in this house, he's talking to his sister downstairs on the phone, and the dog goes upstairs, and it's this long shot following the dog over the shoulder all the way up the stairs. And then the lights kind of go off, and you see in the corner, there's all the shadows, and this was actually, I think, where the bird was also.
Yes, that same scene.
And it's
yeah.
this taxidermy room. And so you have all these lights on, and then the lights slowly kind of go out. And then in the corner, there's all the shadows. But there's just like one shadow that's extra dark in the very corner that doesn't quite seem right. And it just holds on that for a really long time. And I mean, this whole scene has been like 2.5 minutes. It's just this dog slowly walking up the stairs as you're kind of hearing the owner downstairs. The voice gets fainter. And then it slowly draws out. And you see this shadow on the wall. And you kind of just get drawn in and drawn in and drawn in and drawn in. And then the owner's like, hey, what are you doing up here? Like, and it kind of rips you back out. And then, like, of course, shines the light in the corner. Nothing there. And, like, but it's a really long, slow shot. So I could see somebody complaining of, like, oh, man, like, all it was just this dog walking up
Oh, it's so
the stairs.
boring. It's just a shadow.
It's just
Like,
this dog going upstairs. But
That's a sin. They put the light and there wasn't anything in the corner.
I
What was given the shadow?
I think that's kind of fair if you're not into that, though. Like, there's people that
Sure.
don't want to do that. And I can see how they'd say that that's a problem with pacing. But for me, that's not a pacing problem. That's a tension moment. That's
a
drawing
tension
you
moment?
in.
And
Right?
it's the perspective of the dog in a new location. And
Yes.
exploring and seeing this corner that looks scary to the dog.
Yeah. That looks
And it's
wrong,
like,
doesn't feel right.
something's wrong. Why is there nothing in that corner? What is happening there?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a child walking in and their imagination going wild. Being
yeah.
Like, oh, there's something scary in the corner. Right?
The thing that actually it kind of reminded me of a little bit in the TV and stuff too, just for that kind of, mostly for the shots actually in a lot of ways, again, but Skinamarink.
Oh, yeah. I do you remember when Joe Biden got Skinamarink?
I do remember when Joe Biden got Skinamarink.
He called on the
He's
phone.
in the
Like,
house.
hello, I'm
I gotta
Joe
get out of
Biden.
the house.
I've
Please
been
let me out of the house.
Skinamarinked.
I've been Skinamarinked. But spoiler
Sorry.
alert. Joe Biden stars in that.
I
and
can't
it's
believe
wild.
Joe Biden got Skinamarinked. Like, goddamn. It does remind me of Skinamarink with that childlike horror of like their imagination
And also, like, the way that the shots are generally lower to the ground because they've got to be over the dog. They've got to kind of be in the child's perspective. There's a little bit of that.
Yes.
It's not quite... Skinamarink is really extreme in how low it gets for those shots and stuff like that. This is not nearly as claustrophobic as that is, but it
They
does use a
also-
little bit of that.
They never do dog vision
No,
either.
which
It's
is
always
smart.
over the shoulder dog.
I think
We're
that's
following as the audience, not we're the dog.
Yes, which I think is actually a really good
Yeah.
choice. I think that works a lot better.
Yep.
You were also talking, one thing that I wanted to mention, you were talking about how he picked a very expressive dog. The dog
Yes.
looks really inquisitive a lot of the time. And I agree. But I also think there's a really good intersection here where it was very smart. Like, it has the hallmarks of a good gimmick, quote unquote. I know we keep calling it a gimmick, but it's not really, in doing it from the dog's perspective. And that's that understanding of everybody's had that moment with their animal, whether it's a dog or a cat or whatever, their pet in their house. Dogs are kind of the big one for this, though. That it's like, yeah, my dog was just barking at nothing. And it's like, they were so inquisitive. They're like turning their head. Like, what do you see? Do you see like a ghost in the corner or something?
Like, what is that? Yeah.
Dogs tend to have that inquisitive look about them when they don't understand things. And it draws us in. That's something that we find compelling about dogs universally, right?
And because they spent so much time to shoot this, he could set up a scenario where this dog hears a noise downstairs, actually barks like, what was that? And then goes to the stairs and looks. And it's like, you made that connection with the dog to the location, that they got comfortable with it. So when they hear something unusual, they're like,
Yeah. It's both a very expressive dog and also a very intelligent choice from the filmmaker to realize that dogs are very expressive in that specific way.
Yeah.
And to use it in a really good fashion through a horror movie lens where that inquisitiveness can play off, where he doesn't even really need the dog to act. He just needs it to be a dog.
Needs it to be a dog in that scenario.
Yeah. And just like, because it's really easy to get a dog looking confused.
Or to look out a window.
And intense, right? Like,
Yeah.
and doing that inquisitive, intense kind of shot but with some dark lighting and a spooky soundtrack and a weird shadow, really instantly becomes horror movie, right? Like so quickly, really easily, and it's very, very smart.
So our main character is Indy the dog, but
Yes.
our main human character, Todd, we mentioned that he has some medical problems. He's coughing a lot.
Yep.
He was coughing up blood.
And he goes to this cabin,
We find out at the cabin it was his grandfather's cabin who left it to him, and his grandfather had passed away in the cabin.
Yes.
With his dog. His dog was also there.
Yeah, that's not ever mentioned, but you see it in the
It's
tapes, and then you
It's
see
obvious he has a dog.
yeah, you see little bits and pieces elsewhere of this dog.
Like the bandana is a big visual.
Yeah,
that
we find
showing up.
an abandoned bandana in like a dream sequence for the dog, where the dog finds it underneath a dresser.
I think it was really smart to have the dog do dream sequences, actually. They're interesting, and in that horror element of like, is this real? Is this not real? And then when the dog wakes up, you're like, oh, that was a dream. It was imagining the story of maybe what happened to the previous dog or the previous owner of the house or something.
Yes. Yeah, and sometimes it's ambiguous, especially as you get later on in the movie, as to whether or not it is a dream. And that's smart too. Like that's where
that adds to the horror element.
Yes.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of unknown in a horror movie is good, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Weird. Who'd have thought? Fear of the unknown.
So we find out that the grandfather also had medical issues.
Yeah,
in the house.
Very subtly
Eventually.
Again. Yeah, I mean it becomes way more obvious later, but in the beginning you have like moments of him on the tapes because they have lots of like and they also do a lot of old horror movies, old B.
They do a lot of
movies.
horror movies that relate to the scene that is happening.
Yes, but
that, by the way, is he coughs a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he has
the
some
coughing
coughs.
gets worse and worse as the tapes go on.
Yes, yeah, and so you're like, okay, it's congenital. Like there's some kind of genetic.
It's also the question of like, why was
probably.
he recording tapes of himself at home? I think it's because he was dying and he knew he was dying, so he was recording his last. Trying to hopefully get better, but his last moments and all this stuff leading up to his death.
Yeah, him being contemplative about himself, yeah.
But so the movies that show up, by the way, are extremely Joe Dante, I was saying, which Joe Dante is the Gremlins director, Gremlins 2, The Burbs, Small Soldiers randomly.
Small Soldiers, yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah. Who does not remember that Joe Dante classic, Small Soldiers?
Also, and also The Howling, which we haven't watched yet.
Yeah, we have not watched The Howling,
but that was the start of the Howling series.
Yes.
And Joe Dante loves to put movies in that have scenes that relate to a scene that happens later on in his movie, and they did that in this one. They also did. What am I thinking of? Night of the Living Dead shows up at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, when there's the spooky man made of mud who looks like a zombie is walking around. So they do Night of the Living Dead to be like, oh, the zombies are coming.
Yeah.
It feeds into that like childlike some movies going on in the background and I'm scared of it, or I'm like, hey, what is that? What's that scene? What's happening? And then that image from that film coming back to me and scaring me again later on, like in your dreams or something you see out of the corner of your eye. It's such a fun, playful thing, and you could tell the director loves those movies. At the very least, it's influenced by Joe Dante in some way with those shots.
Yeah, it definitely. And from all the movies that he was putting in there, like just this was somebody that likes and appreciates B horror movies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or just old classic horror in general. So like there's a lot of that in there, and it's smart. And we talk about this other times too, that I've had this going around in my head quite a bit again recently because I once again saw the Alan Moore interview about it. But because some of the movies that he has playing in the background of this are like, I think some of them are faked, like
some
they're
of
not
them
actual
maybe,
B movies. Or documentaries and stuff, because there's one about like, dogs have always lived in caves.
The caveman dog movie, yeah.
Yeah, I think that one was very much fake because it also has a weird shadow on the wall inside of the documentary, inside of the cave, that looks very much like a figure of a person, which is the image that they've been using for the spooky, like other
the spooky man
that's in this. Yeah, there's something in the background. And so there's some of that, but there's an Alan Moore quote that I got reminded of again recently, where he was in an interview and he was talking about like, you need to watch bad movies and read bad books, like experience a lot of bad art, because if you're trying to make your own stuff, if all you do is watch classics that are really well regarded, you're just going to plagiarize them, because you're not going to find things that are wrong with them. You're going to look at it and just want to copy it because you know what's good. That's good. I'm just going to do that.
I'm just going to do that, yeah.
If you look at bad stuff, he's like, you want the reaction of, oh God, why did they do this? If I was doing this, I would do it this way. It's way better to not do that. And it's like, there you go. That's your lesson. Take the things that you liked out of that, and then the things that you didn't, and then like make sure you don't do those things. And like a lot of the times you might be like, wow, this is a really good idea. I wish they hadn't done this though. And it's like, okay, so then write that book.
Then write that movie.
Write that
That's
book.
better.
Write that movie. Write the one that was like, man, they did all of this good stuff.
Right.
Except for this. And
Write
that's
the
what you
movie
need
about
to do.
Henry Ford coming back to life and having to kill him.
Exactly. That's what you need to do. You need to kill zombie Henry Ford.
We're all saying it.
Everyone says it all the time. But
Anyway.
it's that kind of thing where you need to see
You're right,
some bad
though.
art.
You are right.
And
You are
so
right.
it's seeing somebody who's obviously influenced and likes a lot of those bad B movies, bad, but a lot of those B movies and things. You learn a lot of lessons through that, and it shows those influences and some of the things that he's learned and some of the tricks that he's learned and some of the things that he's corrected and maybe some of the things that he's got wrong, because there are a couple. I think that it's mostly budget constraints that I have a problem with in this movie.
I think it's mostly budget. Yeah, I do have some input on the budget thing.
Yes, because I know too.
I also
you can go
looked
ahead.
at it, yeah.
Yeah.
So the budget for this film was $70,000, which
It's
is
unbelievably low.
absurdly low.
That's stupid low. Like, it's so low.
It's so low, but I will say it made $8.5 million, which is absurdly high. Like, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good, and I hope that leads to more.
But to give an
honestly,
idea
with what
for
I've seen,
people,
so.
like, I mean, if you don't have any idea of budgets and stuff like that, like, just as a photographer myself, as somebody who has a lot of this kind of equipment, the equipment to shoot a movie like this is going to be well over 10% of that budget. Think about that. Just the equipment, not any of the work, not paying actors, not getting locations, just simply the cameras and lenses that you need to shoot this movie and the lighting that you need to shoot this movie is going to run you well over 10% of the entire budget. That's fucked. That's absolutely unreal fucked up. Basically, he did not take any money for himself for that whole time, because normally you'd have to.
I don't
pay your
think
actors.
so. No,
Like,
because he did have actors, for the record.
Yeah,
There's him.
definitely.
There's his dog. There's Grandpa's dog.
but they
There's
all had to be like,
Grandpa.
they all had to be unpaid. Is the thing.
Maybe
For 3
they were
years?
they were in short amount of scenes, like
true.
the lady at the MRI.
I'm not saying I'm
test,
not saying that
and
they
then
didn't
there's
get
just the
compensated
hunter, and
later.
that'd be it, right? So
I'm not saying that they didn't get compensated later, but you're not talking about actors that are making like real big wages, or like it's somebody that you're like,
it's not like a big
hey,
name.
I'll give you
No.
$100, and if this movie makes money, then you get 5% of it. Like, it'd be that kind of thing. Like, you're not paying them a regular wage. Is what I'm saying. Like,
and also
'cause you
they're
can't
in
on
such a short
70,000.
amount of scenes, you could do it all in one day, and then the
Sure.
rest of it is shooting. Also, you don't have to pay for a set, because the set is the house they're living in. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
he was literally living in that house during
You'd
the
have
shooting
to.
of this. I double checked that. So, in that case, do you count your rent as the cost for the movie or
Yes,
whatever?
you have
like,
to.
I guess you have to, right?
I mean, you write
So-
it off. I would hope so. Because
Yeah.
honestly, because again, he's not getting paid for this the whole time. Like, this is a
Yeah.
movie. This is a very intense process to be making this movie. Because you've got to think, like, a lot of those shots of, like, because he follows the dog up and down the stairs and, like, into a corner, and then has a visual effect in front of the dog while you see the dog on screen. And some of those can be added in post, but a lot of them couldn't. A lot of them are really tricky lighting effects and stuff with shadows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, imagine how many times you have to film that to get it right and get the right shot. And some of it you can fix in post, but a lot of it's not. A lot of it is very practical in-camera stuff. And so when you're thinking about doing all of that, that might take you a day plus just to get that one scene. And that's like 8 hours of, I'm talking about like a full 8-hour day doing it. So you're talking about like hours and hours and hours of setting
A
this
full
all
day
up, getting
getting
it
like
all done,
one scene,
writing
Yeah.
it all,
Yeah.
and you're not getting paid. Like, of course you've got to at least write off your rent at that point as part of this movie. This poor guy. I mean, because imagine if this movie didn't make anything. Like, what if it just never went on
It's
to
just
a
a
circuit?
passion project. I mean, that happens.
It's
so-
very
so.
easy for it to have.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of really good movies out there that never get the eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like something like Bad Moon was a fine movie. I don't think that it's on the level of this, but it's good. And that movie, I'm sure, made nothing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So, I don't think that movie I don't think it was popular. Anyway,
No.
It's definitely a B movie material.
Maybe it made
so.
maybe it made its money
Yeah.
back, but like making your
Yeah.
money back when you're not taking a wage is not exactly like, woo, yay, we did
So-
it. Like, anyway.
Getting back to the story, though.
Yes. Yeah.
As the plot goes on, the dog sees scarier and scarier things, and eventually is introduced to the Dirt Man, the man who drops dirt.
Because the owner didn't leave any dirt under his pillow.
You didn't put
You've
dirt
gotta
under your
leave
pillow
the
for the
dirt under
Dirt
your
Man,
pillow.
you foolish fool.
You idiot.
And then, so out of the corner of the eye, whenever our main human
Mm-hmm.
is being ill and coughing and blood's coming out, you see the Dirt Man in the corner.
Yes.
And the Dirt Man's hand crawling out, and it's a visual metaphor of the illness taking over Todd as he's slowly dying from his lung cancer or something.
Yeah,
lung
they don't
disease.
say what it is, which is
But-
honestly smart. If you give it a voice,
based on
then
how
it's-
he's like breathing very poorly and coughing
Sure.
up
I don't know
blood
if
and
there's
stuff, it's
anything
probably
that would make
but-
you cough up blood in quite the way that he's doing it and stuff. Like,
sure,
it's
they
very...
exaggerate it for a movie, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, and for the horror elements of it and stuff too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but that's why it makes sense that they don't say what it is, because like it could be TB, it could be like, you know, like it could be sarcoidosis, it could be a lung cancer, could be all kinds of things, and they just kind of let you he's dying of a lung disease, make up the lung disease, it's fine. That they do it as like a tar monster is of course a good visual metaphor of kind
It's a
of
good
like
visual.
choking, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all his breath is very like,
Yeah.
like you're choking on mud, so that it's a good visual metaphor
a
for
good
that
visual.
for sure.
So eventually the dog gets locked outside,
Yes.
which is visually metaphored as him getting caught in a fox trap, which they show a lot during the film. Be like, hey, I have these fox traps outside. Watch out for that dog. You don't want that dog getting killed by my fox trap.
Because the neighbor, one of the only other actors in the film, is talking a lot about
Is
that.
a hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the dog's fine. It was just chained to the doghouse. But it still wants to save its human, who is definitely ill. And eventually the dog gets back inside after finding the corpse of the old dog from the grandpa.
Yes. And this
Who
is what
couldn't
we had
escape.
guessed. We had figured this out a long time
Because they were
ago.
saying there's a smell in the basement and all this. So
You see some
but-
claw marks on the wall in the basement, on the bottom
So-
of the door. Yeah.
as the dog runs up to go save Todd, our human,
Yes.
he gets the human gets pulled by the Dirt Man all the way down to the basement.
Mhm.
After we find out that what we thought was Todd at that moment was actually his ghost,
Yeah.
because he had
this-
already died on the bed.
It seems like it. Yeah, I think that's what that is. It's very ambiguous as to how much of that is
Yeah.
real and how much isn't.
Like,
at
did
that
the
point.
did the Dirt Man kill him, or is that his soul leaving his body finally? Because he's
Yeah.
been seeing this like impending doom of his death. The dog has the whole time,
And he turns into the
and
Dirt
now
Man,
he finally sees it and then turns into the Dirt Man. But
which-
as he gets,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, it's very much it's like because they talk about too how the dog has really good sense of smell on the phone call.
How
like
they
the-
can look like they're looking at something, but what they're actually doing is tapping into your
Yes.
medical issues. And,
his sister is like, hey, listen, you should listen to your dog a little bit more. Like, I'm worried about how your dog's acting around you because maybe he's detecting something medically wrong with you. That means you should go back to the hospital. And we actually kind of see that later, that the dog was right, because he tries to go in. There's a scene that's implied that he let his condition progress too long by not going back to the doctors.
So
And
they couldn't get him any.
they couldn't get him on a
like,
trial.
help or trials or anything to help him out.
And
Yeah.
so there's kind of an idea that like this haunting is him haunting himself, maybe, because it's just death. It's just the dog can smell the death on him.
Yeah.
Like it can smell what's medically wrong with him and that it's coming to kill him. And so the dog is constantly scared of what that is and can smell that and feels it.
It doesn't
and
know. Yeah.
And so it almost becomes like a physical presence. So it's like this manifested thing. And then it eventually becomes him as he dies. Right?
As he
And
dies.
So,
So
there's kind of an
but
ambiguous
he gets
thing
pulled
there.
down to the basement.
Yeah.
And our good boy dog runs down after and starts trying to drag him out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still trying to save his human.
And this is, of course, the very sad, loyal
It's such a
part.
heart-pulling ending.
Yeah. 'cause
Of
it's-
like, oh...
And implied, too, that the other dog did the same thing.
The
and
other
that's why
dog
there's
did the same
haunting here.
thing.
Basically, that it followed them to a place where they died and stayed with them as they died to the point that they themselves perish.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it kind of you kind of think like, oh shit, so that's going to be the ending for this
Because that
dog
could have
too.
been the ending.
Yes,
that could have just been
could
the
have
ending.
been. Like, and he goes like, "You can't save me more, boy. You're a good boy. Go," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the body of the other dog there, and then it's very much like, oh, well, that could just be the end. That like, oh, this dog sat loyally by him while they both perish.
Because it's cyclical, right?
Yeah, it's
and if you also think about the cycle of like the family having some sort of condition that they all have, that the grandfather had it too, and it's like it's a cyclical terror.
And also maybe then too a little bit of a cycle of, I wouldn't say abuse, but like a personality thing, because Todd himself gets very angry as he gets closer to death. Like he starts kind of kicking it out a little bit on the dog, and he's definitely like pushing his sister away. And they talked about how the grandpa kind of did similar things.
Isolated and pushed people away.
Isolated and pushed people away because as he was dying, he didn't want people to be around, kind of thing in a way. And so there's kind of an implication there of that. But then you hear a voice. Vera has come, the sister, and she opens up the door and she goes, "Oh my God!" And you see the body of a dog, and it's the old body of the dog, and our good boy comes around the corner and he's okay. And so it's got a little bit of a happy ending. I mean, like I wouldn't say it's a happy ending, but at least
the dog survived. Yeah, but the dog didn't want to leave. Still, he was still looking
No.
back at his owner.
Yeah, there's a long scene of
the hole that he had been pulled into with his corpse. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, there's a long scene of her calling the dog and the dog being caught in this, do I want to stay with my
Like
owner
conflict,
still?
yeah.
Like, there's a very internal conflict there, which is smart. But then, of course, dog moves on, owner passes.
It's
so
a good release moment for the end of the film, I think. Yeah.
A bit of a story of grief. The thing that we were saying for the budget, where the stuff that we didn't like, or at least for me, is the actual monster and some of the monster scenes. They start showing it a bit too much. In my mind. They start
There's
getting
some
too
CG
clear.
monster stuff. Yeah.
I think that he didn't need to show it as clearly as he did. It worked really well as a shadow in the corner constantly, and like, but then it gets more and more clear as it gets closer to him. And when you start showing it cleared up, it takes away a lot of the mystery of it. And also it looks bad because it's very much
It doesn't look very good, yeah.
It's a CG'd thing that they put in post that's not great because it's a very low budget thing. And so it's like, that looks like a guy covered in mud from a PS2 game. So it's
like it could have definitely just been a shadowy thing still. You never see it.
If they just left it as a shadow, I think that maybe would have worked a little bit better. So I think that there was maybe a bit too much showing by the end of it. But it's like pretty minor. It's a really cool movie. It's definitely worth the watch.
Yeah. I really like Good Boy. So, all right. Spoilers are over.
I'm not telling them a timestamp for this. It's fine. They can just... Those people will just have to watch it or not.
They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out.
So we got to rate the dogs.
That's our convoluted story, by the way. That's the narrative that
The
people
really
couldn't
basic-
follow.
The really basic thing about chronic illness that's incredibly obvious.
That's incredibly obvious that the dog's just like watching him as he dies and seeing the tragedy of that and then moving on. That's just like this very basic ass story. If anything, I agreed with the other side of that, which there was a bit of a I saw some criticism that the story's good, but maybe it's a little thin.
Yeah.
And I would say, if anything,
I
it's
could see
leaning
that.
more towards
I
the
could see
thin
that.
side of things. I find it
But-
a little spread out.
Also, like a little thin from a dog's perspective, I think is fine in a way. Like the
Yes.
dog only
Yeah.
understands so much, right? So
Mhm.
it's
Well,
fine.
and it's a short movie. I think that they
Yeah.
did the right thing of not making it really long, because this is like 70 minutes.
70 minutes. I think it could have made a really good 4-hour film where in the middle the dog goes to New York and has to go get a lawyer to help out with the house that they have to get from the grandfather, but the will wasn't
Well,
really
sure,
like
they've got to
fully
figure
figured
out
out
the will
yet.
problems, and then
And then there's
you
no
have to
law
get
that
the
says a
will
dog
for the
can't be a
new guy.
lawyer.
Yeah, so he has to go to trial, but then like the owner's dying the whole time, so there's like this tension
They have
between
to keep
them
taking
of, like,
breaks and
can you get the
yeah.
trial done before the owner dies? And that's part of like what's building into this poor dog's psyche as he's like poring over law documents
then
late at night.
As they're seeing the shadow in the, courtroom, because the shadow's also there, and the shadow's like eating popcorn or something.
Well, yeah, the shadow,
and then
the shadow, and then the shadow takes over the defense attorney for a while.
defense
it
attorney, and then a
seems.
juror looks at it, is like, "Oh my god, that just happened." Yeah, I mean that would really have improved the film quite a bit, but
Definitely.
we only got the short version, so
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the director's cut of Good Boy. That's 4 hours to get the special edition.
Indy plays
deleted
Indy,
scenes.
by the way. Indy doesn't play a character named Indy. Indy plays himself. This
Indy
is a
plays
self-insert movie, which I think is very funny.
That is really good.
Indy being not a character and just Indy, and this was shot in real time, makes the movie way more interesting. It's a documentary out of 10 is how I would have to rate Indy. I'm amazed he got such good shots, to be honest. The dog.
Yeah,
The dog, yeah.
As a directorial debut, I really do think this dog did a fantastic job. So I'm gonna have to give this dog a directorial debut out of 10. Very well done.
Very well
I mean,
done.
honestly, it's surprising too. Like, I mean, imagine directing a scene that you're in where it's
that you're also
over-the-shoulder-
in. It's
an
so hard.
over the
yeah.
shoulder shot of you. That's so hard to do to like direct it well, and he does it fantastically.
You couldn't see the tail
constantly.
wagging in front of the camera at all.
No, he keeps that tail still all the time so that you don't know that he's actually getting like a lot of treats or something off screen.
That makes sense.
I do actually think that there was some editing tricks around that, by the way.
Yeah.
In that a lot of the times you kind of get over the shoulder, and so it's cut off from, say, like the upper back forward. And
There
I'm
could have
pretty
been a
sure that's
rig
because
there.
a lot of the time when they're trying to get him to go upstairs and stuff, they're going like, "Come here, Indy, come here, I got you a treat." And so he's like wagging his tail like crazy going up the stairs, and they don't want to show that he's actually happy. And so it's done a little tighter. You can't tell. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like, it's only because we very much are trying to critique it and looking at it through that eye. But it's
true.
I'm sure that that's why they shot some of those like that.
Now, the grandpa's dog is a character.
Correct.
Who is called Max. They don't name the dog in the movie, but it is in the credits.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, how the fuck did you know that?
Max is not the dog actor's name, though. So that dog, I would rate a needing to cut a cornfield into a baseball field out of 10. Signs or something about seeing dead people. Something.
You know, I think you should. I'm gonna say you should throw that dog a bone out of 10 because it's already bones.
It's a ghost dog.
It's a ghost.
Wait, no, I'm gonna rate that dog a cop dog out of 10. Which is about a ghost dog.
Our very first film, all the way back, 250 films ago.
Maybe more. No,
250 because this was.
Oh, it's exactly
right?
250. Yeah,
It's exactly
right.
250 away. No,
right,
you
you're right,
you are the
you're
one
right.
you're the one that counted this. You just
I'm the
did
one
this.
I'm the one keeping the stats. Yeah,
You
you're right.
literally just kept the stat and told me about it.
And if you want to know more about stats of our podcast, you can follow us on Blue Sky.
Or you can give us money on Patreon, and Boix will
true.
not give you any of our stats because those are ours, and you don't get them. But you
Yeah,
can
you don't
get
get
the podcast early, and some other extra bits that we remember to throw up there very occasionally. I try and put up some extra clips there sometimes, things like that. I do need to upload some more of those right away, actually. I've been a little bit bad about that, but I will do. I've got a bunch to throw in. I'm out of wedding season now. a little bit, so I'm gonna be a little bit more free. So
True.
hopefully that'll free me up for some time.
You can email us also.
Yeah, we talked about that. You can tell us all about the movie that we should watch. Good boy.
Yeah.
Again.
You can.
You can say that again. You can say, hey, have you seen this movie about dogs that's coming out? Did you see the dog movie?
Did you see Good
Did
Boy?
you know there's a dog movie
Have you heard about
out?
the movie called Good Boy?
I mean, we
You're
appreciate
right,
that.
though.
Honestly,
We should have
there's
watched
some-
it. You're right.
There are times where I'm like, fuck, I did not know that was a movie that was coming out. So I'm
Yeah.
very glad that does happen. But it is also very funny when it happens like not once or twice, but 30 or 40 times.
Yeah.
That's when it gets good.
Hey, our branding's right. That's what that means.
Our branding's working.
Yeah.
Branding. I don't know how to end this one.
All right.
I think that
I'm gonna make a movie where we just follow my Nintendo Wii U around, and it sees spooky things in the corner. The spooky thing is that somebody
IR
owns.
is off.
The spooky thing is that somebody owns a Nintendo Wii U. Okay, that's it.
The really spooky thing is that they own a Nintendo Wii U and they're in like Europe or another market that doesn't use them. Or what if, oh my god, wait, I've got a better one. It's an Xbox Connect, but the twist is its owner is in Japan. Because there's none of those. That doesn't exist.
That's too scary. That'll never sell. That's too scary.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I do have to ground my stories in realism. Nobody in Japan owns an Xbox.